can you see this person's perspective, but can you see beyond this barrier that is in front of you right now? And we do get to that place of gratitude and actually appreciation. Now, it takes us refusing to stay in a victim mindset in order to do that.
We're not going to stay in victim mindset. We're going to play with our dogs and our kitty cats. And
we are. And real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my cam and plug my computer up, because Jack just jumped up on the couch and it said bing. And I said, oh, this won't last 30 minutes.
Okay.
You run with it.
I'll run with it and I'll be right back. Okay. This is how we do it around here. We roll with it. And that's kind of what today is about. I sometimes call what the solution is where we're going to live today. We talk a lot about the problems. If you have been in an abusive relationship, if you are dealing with grief, if you're dealing with recovery from any kind of substance or past hurt, okay, everybody recovering from something. Let's just get that right out there. Everybody is. And so what we're going to talk about today are some of the solutions. And sometimes I call it my Teri toolkit, my Teri tools, things that we can do every day. So I encourage you, if you don't have something to write with, I want you to get something to write with. I want to encourage you to be participatory. If you have something in your toolbox that you use that's very, very helpful, we're going to talk about that today as well. So now we're going to see. There she is. She back. She plugged in. Always got to be plugged into the source. That's what we always say. All right. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good morning, Candy. It's so good to see y'all and glad that you're here. And I know both of you who are watching, and as people join in wherever you are, you can leave a comment, or knowing both of us, you probably already have our cell phone number, so you can text us as well. We love to bring you in. This is an interactive show that we have every week. Well, let's break open the toolbox, and we're going to talk about, first of all, if you feel, now this is the way that I describe it. If in your life you start feeling like a frayed wire, you ever pull a wire away from, like if you pull something and then all of a sudden you've got that wire that's out there just, you can't plug into your source very well. You can't do anything that's not hazardous to everything around us when your wires are frayed. You've got to fix the wire. Let's talk about that. And some of the graphics that we have, the survival toolkit, practical ways to feel better. There's a lot of woo-woo ways that are out there. We can get into some of that too. And some of the stuff, I always say that some of the stuff that Teri talks about, she's introduced me to some woo-woo ways. And I don't know why they work, but they do.
What do you call woo-woo?
Well, I mean, in traditional kind of thought, you say, I'm depressed. I'm going to go to a doctor and I'm going to get a pill and I'm not going to be depressed anymore.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm not going to deal with it. I want an instant fix. That is traditional. That's what we're used to. But the thought that I could sit and do something as simple as breathing, I'm going, okay, breathing is not going to help me with what I'm doing right now. But I want us to unpack this because this has been monumental for me. And it's the Teri tool, and it's the first one, and and everybody can do it. It doesn't cost you anything. Far as I know, air is free.
Air is free. You're right. Now, and breathing, yes, breathing might be one of those that people are like, oh, that's outside the box. That's not going to work. I can't tell you how many times I hear that from people. Well, I don't know that that's going to do anything. You don't understand how big this issue is. And my philosophy to that is we're either breathing to support our body and our mind and our energy, or we're breathing to keep it deregulated or dismantle it. So there are breathing exercises. One of them that I start off with folks all the time. It is very easy. It's 6-6-12.
Okay.
And you do that in reps of 3. So
now, how do we do that? What do you mean 6-6-12?
So what you do is you would sit in a chair somewhere where your chair, floor, wherever you're supported.
Parked car
in front of you. What's that?
In a parked car.
Absolutely. Feet in front of you. and you will inhale into the count of 6, which is just a simple, and then you hold that breath to the count of 6, and then you exhale to the count of 12 or until your lungs are empty. And then you do
Okay.
that 2 more times. That would be your cycle of 3. This particular breathing exercise increases the capillaries in your brain. It increases your circulatory system. It regulates your serotonin, cortisol, or I shouldn't say it. It begins to regulate your serotonin, cortisols, and dopamines. Those are our 3 heavy hitters when it comes to being deregulated, which is our when we're afraid. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to do that, and the other thing that it does is it reoxygenates your lung capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are engaging in a cycle like this mindfully, anxiety, moods that are swinging tend to swing less. Anxiety is held at bay. Now, if you do that cycle 3 times and then you're like, okay, maybe I need it 3 more, you know, I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you this: you can get through a red light by doing that cycle 9 times,
Wow.
and
Oh,
you'll still have about 20 seconds left over to fix your radio or whatever. So,
wow.
but I tell folks to put this in your phone, put it on a post-it note at your desk, put it on your mirror in the bathroom, set it as an alarm on your
Mm-hmm.
phone, because
6 6 12.
yes, we're programming our body. We're replacing one behavior or action with another. And if 6612 seems to be too much because your mind is really scattered, break that down to 4 and 4. Inhale into the count of 4, exhale out to the count of 4.
Elizabeth says, breathing like this slows my spinning brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It is like a weird little easy miracle. We have Joyce who is weighing in. Good morning, Devon and Teri. Boy,
Good
sounds like
morning,
this one.
Joyce.
Truly for me today. 6 years ago today, my sister fell downstairs and it was my last day to talk to her.
Mm.
She passed 3 days later. I still suffer with this grief a lot.
Well, I'm just sending you lots of love, Joyce, because I know that that is a difficult journey to navigate.
It's hard. And I think that this year, of all the years, we are more aware of passages than we've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
And not everyone is passing from COVID. People are passing from all sorts of things, but we're noticing even more because of the sheer numbers that we've said goodbye to. How does the breathing help in grief? Same principle?
Same principle. It's regulating our serotonins, cortisols, and dopamines. So it's not going to take away grief. But we've talked about in the past, our emotions have a 90-second lifespan if we
Mhm.
don't grab onto them. Now, grief is the same but slightly different, because when we're grieving, we are in an overall um, state of heaviness. And when
Mhm.
we find ourselves dipping a little deeper, we can do these breathing exercises and it will level us out. It's not going to magically take away the pain. It's not going to magically make life better, but it is going to, in the present moment, allow you to feel a little more grounded, a little more at peace, a little more in your own head. And sometimes
Wow.
we don't want to be in our own head, but when we're in a good space in our head, that is a very calming place to be, because it gives us a sense of control.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. And are there any other things that we can breathing? And it's one of those things that if we're going through a tough time, if we're going through trauma, if we're spinning out, if we've been triggered, it's that quick, okay, breathe. I find myself when I'm driving, I find myself sometimes holding my breath. And I would swear to you, I'm breathing like normal until I take a big, deep, and I call them nourishing breaths.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, that felt good. It's like drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I didn't know I was thirsty and then I had water and I didn't replace anything else. Actual water
Mm-hmm.
makes a difference. So, our breathing exercise. Well, speaking of, let's move. We're going to move to moving.
Okay.
Everybody's got something they can do to move.
Hmm.
Movement is something that, whether it's walking, whether it is something as simple as dancing or swimming. I know you love to kayak. That is something that you like to do. Why is moving so important?
Because it keeps a fluid motion in our body. Movement builds endorphins. And endorphins boost us, so we feel a
Hmm.
little more uplifted. You know, how many times someone, I can say myself, often have I gone to the gym or gone to walk out or been like, oh, I don't want to do, oh, I'm not really feeling that right now, but I do it, and then when I'm done, I'm like, whoo, I'm in a mindset where I'm making healthier choices for myself. If I start my day off with some sort of healthy movement and meditation, I've set myself up for whatever we want to call success is in the day, but I've set myself up to lean into more healthy choices rather than unhealthy choices. And when we find ourselves deregulated, whether it's, traffic or spilled coffee or whatever, we can regulate ourselves a bit more effectively. And we
Hmm.
don't quite get into the, this always happens. It doesn't always happen. So,
Hmm.
so when we align ourselves up with movement, and I will say this, maybe you don't go to the gym, maybe getting out and walking the neighborhood or the street is too much for you. Maybe that's just not where you are right now in this moment. So another movement that we can do that's very gentle is rocking. And you don't even have to have a rocking chair to do that. You can just sit wherever you're sitting and just rock.
Hmm.
Just rock. You're gonna rock this way. It's a very calming, um, nurturing movement for our body.
Wow.
And if you feel like getting up and walking like a dinosaur or Egyptian, knock yourself out and do that too. But, I mean, if you want to dance, dance, but just something that sometimes, we need is just a rock.
That is so simple.
Hmm.
That's special. Elizabeth weighing in. We meet here every day. I feel like we have a virtual meeting going on, and Elizabeth's always so helpful to lift everybody up. So thank you for that. And adding, I know that feeling's very similar to my jaw clenching. I realize I'm doing it.
Hmm.
I don't realize I'm doing it until I'm not. And we have little ticks and we have little things. So it.
That was another thing I was going to say. And Elizabeth brought that to the forefront. Doing a body scan of just what you're feeling.
Mhm.
You know, if we're in a place where we're like, oh, I'm doing okay, you know, and then you shut your jaw again, or you realize, you're just tense. Do a
Mhm.
body scan. What do your shoulders feel like? What does that jaw feel like? Are you tightening your glutes, or are you just relaxed? Are you breathing shallow from here, or are you getting that nourishing flow going through your body? Such simple, simple things. And sometimes, Devin, I think because they are so simple, we don't give them the respect or the attention that they really um, deserve in order to, because it's like, well, that's just too simple.
It really does seem that way, and I will tell
Hmm.
you, and it comes off as really woo woo, like I said. Um, okay, yeah, breathing, rocking. That's going to really make a difference, and it really does. And it's interesting how we do not allow ourselves nourishment and comfort.
Well, it makes a difference to a baby,
Oh, okay, that's
right?
ding. The little light bulb, it makes a difference to a baby.
Right,
A baby will tell you what they need to be comforted.
right.
We shut that baby up within us.
Hmm. Well, we have so much layered on us from life, whether it's
Mhm.
losses, whether it's experience, whether it's gains, whatever it is. We tend to shut down our own receptors inside that are going, "Hey, I need to be self-soothed right now." And so
Mhm.
instead, we just get busy, because being active in the sense of people pleasing and doing and making lists and all that stuff, that makes us feel like we're productive. But what we're missing out on, is, from a physiological standpoint, we're not allowing, or, setting our system up to be productive.
You know, I always thought one of my favorite verses in the Bible is "Be still and know." Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still. If you break it down, no matter what you use in that verse, it's nourishing to your body. And while we say breathe and we say move, sometimes that movement is to be still. That's an actual verb, be
Hmm.
still. And being still in a silence of 60 seconds is very difficult if you fill your life with noise. When we say meditate, it is so difficult for people to even wrap around that if you don't do that. Billy
But here,
Block,
here's the thing.
one thing before we go,
Yeah.
Billy Block, who is no longer with us, but he used to share some knowledge, and he said, "Praying is when I tell God what I need and what I want. Meditating is when I listen." And go ahead.
No, that's very accurate.
Mhm.
Praying is asking for what you need or what you want, the support, whatever. Meditation is listening for the answers for how you can achieve that, how you can embrace that. And we do typically we have a very fast-paced lifestyle that most people live in. And being able to take those deep breaths, I tell people all the time, take your shoes off and walk through the grass. Just walk through the yard. Now, some people will say, well, that just doesn't make any sense. Well, it reconnects and refires parts of our brain and our body that have memory stored with pleasant things around that. You know, a lot of people will say, well, meditating is just crazy to me. But here's the thing: they'll go out and garden in their garden, or they'll walk around the block in silence, or they'll sit and think about and contemplate things. That is a form of meditation. Meditation is actually not designed to be a thing that you do, it's a practice that you are.
Sorry, I was choking to death. I'm gonna have to get some water. I'm gonna leave this with you for a second. Go get me some water. I have
Okay.
some medication that makes me dry out, but I'm gonna leave Elizabeth's comment up, and she talks about floating, and I know that you've done this too, and we're gonna talk about why that makes a difference.
Okay. So yes, and Elizabeth, I love that about the floating, and I am a huge advocate for that, and I love when people go do that, because if you have not tried that, that is the perfect time to settle the mind, settle the body, and just allow yourself to be in the moment. And that breathing when you're doing that, if you guys haven't floated out there, it is the equivalent of being in a pool with about 8 inches of salt water in it, but you do actually float in it. So it's the equivalent, or I'm sorry, it breaks us down into this place where we are completely relaxed. And the monkey mind that we have going on, and the frayed that Devon just talked about earlier, that stuff tends to hone in, and it quietens itself down. And so those tools, while they seem very simple, floating, of course, is making an appointment. But while things like breathing, um, meditation and motion, which is our gardening, which is our walking the yard, which is even can even be picking up sticks, you know, anything that we can do in a fluid motion where we are grounding ourselves and clearing our mind is beneficial to us. And
Mhm.
oftentimes we'll say, well, that's just that new age stuff. People been walking and gardening for centuries. It's not new age, you know.
No, no. And I love that Margie Singleton just joined us.
Hey,
I mean, her boys
Margie.
want her to meditate. And, Margie's been through a tough time. She just lost her best friend, Linda.
Hmm.
And it's very difficult. And it's that urge. Anytime something happens, she could just pick up the phone, call Linda,
Hmm.
and Linda would call her. And when we don't have that touchstone, I mean, I think about it every day. My mother is 83. Anytime something happens, no matter what we've done in our lives, no matter how many times we've had moments where we get mad as crazy at each other, I still pick up the phone, or she picks up the phone. We talk 20 times a day, you know? So, and I know that that is precious. But those are having those touchstones. That's another part of our tools, is having people that we can be accountable with. Now, what do
Mhm.
you do when you lose that person you're accountable with? How do you start new accountabilities?
Well, first and foremost, taking time to grieve that loss. That's going to be the most effective way. Secondly, is going to be while in tandem, while grieving that loss, reaching out to those who can be of support. Sometimes that's going to be a neighbor. Sometimes that's going to be a support group. Sometimes it's going to be your church family. Sometimes you're going to find that it's just going to be your dog or your cat, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and it is important when I always, and I preface it by saying when people are ready, it is important to start getting support, from friends. I'm sure that while Margie's, in this pocket right now of this
Mhm.
deep grief, there are friends who can make her smile and can make her laugh. She's not in a place right now maybe where she want, and I'm this is projection clearly because I haven't talked to Margie about it. But when we are grieving, we're not necessarily in a place where we want to feel better right now in that moment. Our heart needs that time. So that
Mm,
self-care, breathing is great for people who are grieving because what it does is it keeps our head just above that water that feels like it's going to take us under.
right. So take a deep breath, move or be still, find your thing. And, people say, well, I don't have money to join a gym. We're not talking about that. We're talking, everything that we're talking about is free. Everything we're talking about is free.
And here you go. If you got $2.15, go to the dollar store and buy a dollar coloring book and a box of dollar crayons and color. And if you don't have that, grab you a piece of paper and doodle. That's that when I work with clients, um a, a lot of times they'll think I'm taking tons and tons of notes. I do take notes, but I'm just doodling because I have crayons and coloring and pencils there for clients that will allow them to doodle and color and draw because our brain is not so hyper focused on what we need to say or what we need to do. And when we allow ourselves that self care of just disconnecting a little bit, but still present, we're able to tap into more of that flow.
Ooh,
And
that's good. That's good. Well, daily routine. We're talking about a frayed wire here. We got 7 minutes left in the show. So I want to talk about daily routine and creating it. That might be journaling. That might be okay. Okay. I know when I'm in a dangerous territory, I always refer to myself, I'm a night owl. I love staying up all night. And I do. But I find out if I stay up all night, then the next night I want to stay up all night. And then the next night more. And pretty soon I'm just giving up sleep. And my body gets on my third day, I get on a kind of a high. And I'm going, okay, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. And so um, now my thing is creating and going, okay, I'm going to have a phone that I set to go to sleep and to
mhm,
wake up. And I'm going, okay, here's what I do. And I find that when I don't have a routine and I'm that frayed wire out there frenetically not getting anything done,
mhm.
I'm not only filling my life with busyness, but I don't put me in my schedule or whatever. I literally just don't have any anchors. So let's
Mhm.
talk about the importance of routine and how we develop one that is healthy.
So if you're not a calendar person, become one.
Okay.
If that means writing it down on a piece of paper or a post it note, or putting it in a calendar for yourself. Having perfect example, you said you have an app or an alarm on your phone that tells you when to go to bed.
Hmm.
You can have that alarm on your phone that tells you when to go to bed, and that's wonderful. But if you snooze it or turn it off and you don't go to bed, then you're not benefiting yourself, right? So accountability is a huge part of changing behaviors that we have.
Hmm.
We have to be willing to say, what's that? Your journal?
No, it is a $1 for my little pink calendar because it's my color. My pink calendar from Dollar Tree.
Nice.
I'm just telling everybody, and for some reason electronic doesn't work for me, but the thing of writing it down,
Mm-hmm.
I use that. And also I go to Dollar Tree, and also in pink, my journal, do your thing. I
Nice.
find something that is literally something very inexpensive that helps me create a routine,
Mm-hmm.
and I write it down.
And creating that routine means giving yourself, giving yourself the opportunity and the benefit of sticking with it, because many
Hmm.
times we program our brain that says, I'm going to try this, but the brain goes, yeah, we've done this before and it's never worked. So it's really about a diligent focus and a commitment to that change. Writing it down, even if you don't want to go to bed at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, go.
Hmm.
Set your, if it's have extra greens in your day, go to the store, buy the stuff, have it, Instacarted or whatever, have it at your home, so that if you put in your thing, I am gonna walk outside today and pick up sticks in the yard, and I'm gonna, blah blah blah. Those things sound so um minimal, but we are never ready for step 10 if we're not willing to commit to step 1 and step 2.
Absolutely. Tammy
So,
Pierce checking in. Good stuff. Tammy's been going through a lot of metamorphosis in life. She's recently had a move, which completely unsettles your life.
mhm,
And
mhm,
that's its own grief. Um, and so there's a lot there, and trying to get back on a routine when you're in a new situation and a new place in a different it's tough. Margie, that's right. We need to grieve. Yes. And Elizabeth sharing true. It doesn't have to cost a penny. Coloring is so relaxing. I love my coloring books.
mhm. Color. I mean, I've got. Well, I mean, if I change move the camera around, you'd see 3 of them behind me right now. I color all the time. I'll sit outside when it's raining on the patio and just color. There's something that is so, whether it's doodling, coloring, if it's throwing clay, if it's painting, if it's um, stringing beads together, if it's whatever your thing is that you like, you know, doesn't have to cost anything. I enjoy vacuuming. I can actually get off on a meditation moment by vacuuming, because it's a white noise, and there's just a repetitive movement. Now, this is not, I'm not trying to be Gandhi or Buddha when I'm doing this type of meditation in motion, but it allows us ourselves to just check out and check in.
These are some important things that you can put into your life. And daily routine matters. Calendar, having something, write it down. At the end of every day, I look at my list, and I do make a list, a to do list, but I put me on that to do list. I put the
Mm-hmm.
things that are important for me on that list.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Daily routine actually matters. And keeping sometimes, okay, I'm just going to be really honest here. Sometimes mine is writing down the food that I eat during the week. I have some health issues that I've developed, and I'm trying to be better. I'm insulin resistant, so I'm having to look at some things. And so I went and got these protein shakes there that I can grab,
Mm-hmm.
and they have like 1 gram of sugar, but at the same time, it keeps me from getting hungry if I want to eat something bad, and it gives me time to cook something that is good. Because when you get that place where you and I don't like to use the word hangry, but when you go, I got to eat and I got to eat now. So we
Mm-hmm.
force ourselves to go through a window or whatever, eating something that's not good for us. But if you have something like the shakes, I keep them in the back of my car. I mean, they don't even have to be cold. I know I can have this, and it's going to give me 160 calories of stuff that I need.
And that speaks to when I was saying earlier, set yourself up for success.
Hmm.
Instacart what you need. If you know that what you need is a protein shake that has 1 gram of sugar and that satiates your need, then go one step further than knowing that's what you need and getting it for yourself.
Here's
You
another
know.
thing. I got a Walmart app on my phone. and I can't go in a Walmart. I have an issue with going in and I find things that I didn't know I wanted or needed, and they will find their way into my cart. And I know that that is one of the things that I like to fill the hole with.
Mm-hmm.
So I use my app and I go through it and I order everything that I want and then I go pick it up. And well, I say I order everything I need. And then I go through the list and I go, okay, here's my budget, and I stay on it. If I don't see it, I won't get it. If I'm not there, I won't do it. And God bless the people who work. And that's at most every store right now. You can actually use your app, order your things, and you can pick them up. Let go of the control that I have to pick every pair. And
Right.
so someone else can do this right now. And you know what? It has taken hours a week out of my daily,
Mm-hmm.
because 9 times out of 10 they save things on those little apps and you go, wait a minute, I just got reorder. I pick up the same thing and it's there, and all I have to do is pick it up, and those hours that I would be walking through getting things I don't need, I can use taking care of me doing something. Hey, here's something else. When we have conditioned ourselves, if we don't make money from it, it's not worth doing. Okay, let's open that real quick before we get out of here.
Do you mean as far as
Like coloring, like we've told ourselves, well, I don't make money doing this. I'm doing a craft and I can't sell it or whatever. I'm wasting my time because this doesn't add to my bottom line. It might even cost me $1 or whatever. I could be using this time to do business.
well, so looking at that, when we're kids, we're not making money from, there's not always money that has to be made from self kindness or self care. We can't monetize everything in our, well, we can try to monetize everything in our daily life, but it will create a miserable us.
Mhm.
There's a difference between, if your livelihood is creating jewelry, then you're probably not going to want to sit down with a mindful moment and create jewelry for your meditation or your silent. You're going to want to do something different. And
Mhm.
it's okay to not always make money, because I know some of the wealthiest folks in town, and sometimes those folks are not always happy. So money does not equate to happiness. It just doesn't. It can satiate and make life easier and pay our bills and whatnot. But money, if our mind is programmed that money equals our happiness, then anytime we're lacking or there's a deficit there, we're not going to be full or happy. And
Mm.
it should be the opposite. I mean, minimalists can live on very, very little and can be incredibly happy, you know.
Joyce
Um,
adds, my dog is my relaxation, just rubbing on him and talking to him. Absolutely. A dog or a cat.
I can tell you this, I kid you guys not. If I turned this computer, matter of fact, I'll do it. I hope it doesn't go weird on me. Look at this guy. Well, he's just laying there, and I've been sitting here for the last 15 minutes just rubbing his chest. There's something, so it's relaxing. It's
Mhm.
relaxing for me, it's relaxing for him. It's the same thing as self-soothing if we're just rocking, you know.
Absolutely. Elizabeth, I Instacart from the grocery store for that same reason. I don't shop with my little that way. My little likes sweets and snacks. Amen. Mine does too.
Hmm.
Candy's laughing at that. I mean, Jack has it going on. He's just,
Jack is like, he is meditation. Like, he
mm.
is just the Zen dog. So unless a tennis ball's in the mix, and then he's not. Then he's like a freak, but I love him all the same.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today. Again, these are just a few of the survival toolbox and some practical ways to feel better. Remember our 6612, take a deep breath, and moving or using our stillness as a verb,
Hmm.
taking that and creating a healthy routine. And I always love that the routine, things like your sleeping mask and your headphones and the music and the writing things down, the calendar, the clock, all of those. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. Everybody has the same 24.
Absolutely. And we can make it special. If you're going to bring, a midday tea or coffee into your routine, or a water. Make it set, like I've got a client who has started drinking, a tea, a health kind of a tea. She actually went to a thrift store and purchased a really cute little tea cup, and set. She's made it into a thing. So now it's not, oh, I just got to go get the tea and drink it. Now it's like, oh, I'm going to turn the music on and I'm going to sit and I'm going to have this. And she's carving out just a few moments out of the day. And when we start to reclaim those moments that are already ours, we realize that we actually have more time in the day, because we're not running around frazzled and frayed from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. If you infuse your day with some self-kindness and some self-care and a routine that feels good, at first you can absolutely anticipate some resistance.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Anticipate it, know that it's coming, and know that you're committed to a change or a shift in your behavior.
And I noticed that, I'm drinking out of McDonald's cup. Did you know that you don't have to put a carbonated drink or a sugary drink in these cups when you go through the line? I like ice water. And I
Hmm.
just kept this cup because in my I did go to McDonald's to get something to eat, and I did order things that were not as high carb, and because I was busy and I didn't have something, but I ordered ice water. And just that one little change has made a difference this week.
Hmm.
So I just want to encourage you that your changes don't have to be all at once. They can be incrementally.
Yeah, absolutely. Start gifting yourself with one healthy choice a day, whatever that is. If you choose that, you know what, instead of having um, ice cream after dinner tonight, I'm going to have, I don't know why fig Newtons came in my mind, but I'm going to have fig Newtons. Or instead of hitting that snooze button three more times this morning, I'm going to get up and just sit outside and listen to the wind chimes and just get some fresh air.
Hmm.
Just gift yourself one healthy choice a day, and I guarantee you it will it will stick, and you will start gifting yourself two and three and four, and you still have time to do the things that are most important to you and the things that need to be done for just daily life. And you will find that some of that busy stuff, the filler stuff,
Hmm.
you start releasing that, because it feels better to choose that healthy, whatever that healthy is for you.
Give myself one healthy thing a day. That is great. I need to change my routine, Candy says. We all find ourselves thinking we got to change. But if we overwhelm ourselves with the change by giving us too much at once, sometimes we quit. So I like the
Yes.
one healthy thing a day. That's
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
Just make those changes that help and bless us. Well, we're going to close the show now. Thank you so much. Follow us wherever you're watching this. Make sure you
Yep.
click like and do a follow. Transcending Turbulence. Tell us about Transcending Turbulence, how they can reach you on a one-on-one, Teri.
Easiest way is go to teripugh.com, teripugh.com. Um, Emails, phone, and all social media is there.
Well, I want to encourage you, if you want to reach out to me, Devon O'Day at Gmail. You can reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on our YouTube channel, which is on the Main Street Today Network. So thank you so much, Teri. And before we get out of here, he joined us late, but Greg McDougall, he fought COVID and has done an amazing job in sharing that. And Greg, we're so glad that you're getting better. It is a hard, hard, hard thing to get through. So, continued healing, brother, continued healing. And thank you to all those folks who join us each and every week. Share this with someone. We're here every Wednesday at noon ish.
And
Sometimes.
also, I'll just throw this out there. I haven't even talked to you about it, but I'll throw it out there. If anybody has any workshop or retreat ideas that they would like Devon and I to facilitate and they can join, let us know, because that's that's in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, we're actually thinking about some things to do, and we've got some locations. It'll be like the coolest sleepaway camp you ever went to,
Right? It,
or even a daily workshop, even something that we
mhm,
do and just do. You don't. We're not going to commit to too much just yet, but we do have some ideas in mind for a sleepaway camp for like
mhm.
a weekend.
Small numbers. We're not talking about, the hundreds of thousands of people. Small numbers, um, intimate health and happiness.
Greg, no oxygen today, so yay! God
Yay.
bless you.
Yes.
That is it. People are all jumping in here. A launch date retreat. Yes,
There you go.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Candy. Thank you guys for all being here. And we encourage you to just share these good thoughts with somebody else and let us know if these tools have helped you this week. Teri, bring it home.
As always, we appreciate you guys for joining us and create a great day, create memorable moments, and increase the peace. See ya.